Good morning, readers. Well, today is release day for Posed for Death, which is book number 6 in the Kenzie Kirsch Medical Thriller series. So if you have been waiting for your next medical mystery, then check out Dr. Kenzie Kirsch's investigation into this case. And as usual, I will do a reading for you from chapter 1. The phone rang as Kenzie was in the bathroom getting ready for her day. She looked at it in irritation. Unless it was Dr. Wiltshire, no one else should be calling her before work. And if it were Dr. Wiltshire, he usually just left her a message on her work phone to let her know where he was going, or if something in his schedule had changed for the day, rather than calling her on her cell, unless he wanted her to attend to the scene of a death. But the name on the face of her phone was not Dr. Wiltshire. It was Walter Kirsch. Kenzie considered ignoring it. He wasn't likely to be calling her about anything urgent, and she would feel better prepared to talk to him after she'd had a fortifying cup of coffee and some breakfast. But she was trying to work on a better relationship with him, so she just closed her eyes briefly to gather her thoughts and try to relax, and then swiped to answer. "Hi, Dad." "Mackenzie!" His face boomed, much too loud and cheery for first thing in the morning. "How are you this lovely morning?" "I'm good. What's up? It's pretty early for you to be calling." She hoped that the gentle nudge would get through to him, and he would remember the next time not to call her quite so early. "You always did like to sleep in," he remembered fondly. Kenzie had liked to sleep in as a teenager and young adult, but she didn't think that sleeping until 6:30 or 7 o'clock should count as sleeping in. "Yes, I did back then," she agreed, "but I'm up this morning. I need to get ready for work." Rather than pushing for him to hurry up and tell her his business and get him off the phone if he was just calling for a friendly chat, she tried an offer. "Did you want to get together for dinner, and we can have a visit then?" "Oh, no, you don't have to worry about that. I don't have time to drive down. But your mother has some papers she wants you to sign for the foundation. I thought I would give you a heads up." Kenzie frowned and shook her head. "If she has some papers for me to sign, then why isn't she the one calling me?" "I offered. Thought it would give me a chance to say hello to you. She'll email you the documents. Just make sure you check your email sometime this morning." "Are they urgent? It has to be this morning?" There was a slight hesitation before his response. "It would be best if you could get to them this morning, yes?" Kenzie sighed. She really didn't want to know all the details of why it had to be done right away. It seemed like the more she got involved with the Kirsch Family Foundation, the more urgent everything became. When she'd been shirking her duties, some documents had waited weeks for her signature. But now that she was trying to step up and take an active part, everything needed to be done immediately. She supposed she should be grateful that her brother wanted to involve her, and that they were helping so many other people. But she felt a little like Lisa was taking advantage of her. "Sure, I'll make sure I check sometime this morning, and we'll sign them and send them back." "Great, that'll make her happy. She says hello." "Are you there right now, in Burlington with Mother?" Walter and Lisa had divorced a number of years before. Kenzie was happy that they were still on good terms, and didn't see a problem with Walter stopping in to sleep at the family home or use the office he had there if he happened to be in the area. It was good that they got along together and didn't fight and put Kenzie in the middle of things, but it always made her feel a little bit strange, and she didn't quite know how to take their continuing relationship. She'd never asked for details of whether they were still romantically involved. That would be too weird. She didn't want to know. "Yes, I have a meeting here this morning, so I stayed over last night. Always nicer to start the day off relaxed rather than having to drive out here." Kenzie nodded. She didn't like to be rushed in the morning either, and, looking at the time, she realized she needed to get off the phone if she were going to get to work on time without having to hurry. "Okay, Daddy, I've got to go now. I'll talk to you later. Say hello to Zachary for me and for your mother." "He says hi back," Kenzie said automatically, and she ended the call. As she put the phone down to finish her hair and makeup, she felt Zachary move in behind her. "Walter?" he asked, as he put his arms around her for a quick hug. Kenzie wondered whether he had heard her call Walter Dad, or if he just recognized the note of exasperation in her voice when she talked to him. She hoped that her annoyance with him wasn't that obvious. She didn't want Walter to realize how much of an effort it was to talk to him and be civil, though she did want him to know that it was a bad time of day to call her to talk. Of course, Zachary was a private investigator, so even if he hadn't heard Kenzie called Walter by name, it would probably only take a sentence or two for him to figure out who she was talking to. Yes, she sighed, way too early in the morning to be talking to him. Zachary nuzzled her and kissed her neck, then released her, knowing that she would want to get ready. He was grinning. It may not be early for you, Kenzie said, acknowledging that he had probably been up since before sunrise, but it's too early to talk to him. Zachary nodded. He never had much to say about Walter. The two of them didn't exactly get along, but Kenzie understood that Zachary didn't want to say anything negative about him to Kenzie, so he was tactful and kept his thoughts to himself. But she knew that he too found Walter taxing and wouldn't want to be talking to him early in the morning, or late in the morning. I'll go put the coffee on, Zachary offered. She patted his sandpaper cheek. That would be great, thanks. He left, and Kenzie looked back at the mirror to tame her long, curly dark hair into some semblance of order and finish putting on her makeup. Not that her patients would care what she looked like, since they were already dead. Alrighty, so that is from Posed to Death. Check the links below to pick up your copy today, and I hope you enjoy reading that one. Talk to you next week.